Good afternoon and welcome back to the 2022 PGA Championship here at Southern Hills Country Club, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We are once again joined by Matt Fitzpatrick. Matt put forth a 1 under par 69 today. He's 3 under for the championship. Looks like some crisp play from you again today in some really challenging conditions. But at the end of the day, you're right in the thick of this thing going into the weekend, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess so. Obviously, see how the conditions are the rest of the afternoon. I think it was forecast to sort of die down a little bit. I'm looking outside now. It's kind of not quite as strong, I guess, as it was this morning. And I'm definitely going to use that excuse. So, yeah, I think I'm really happy with the way I played the first 2 days. Really, really happy. So, just got to build on it tomorrow. And, yeah, looking forward to it.
What do you like about what you've put forth 2 days in that you can take into the weekend with you? What about your game is spot on?
I'll be honest, I've done everything well in periods. You know, I've driven it well. Today's round, for instance, I drove it well first 12, 13 holes and then hit my irons well, same kind of stretch, and then sort of scrambled well, chipping and putting on my last 6 or 7. So I'm really pleased with the way that's been, and it's all dovetailed well.
All right, let's go to the pros here. Number 6.
Matt, what was the key sort of mentally with the round today? Was it being patient? As the birdies weren't flowing, you just had to sort of stick in there.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think that's the one thing that I've learned more and more, certainly over the last few years, particularly with Billy on the bag as well, is just to stay patient, and the birdies will come. Basically, it's a case of, you know, it's very rare that anyone hits 18 greens in regulation, but if you do, you'd like to think you're going to hold 1 or 2, 3 or 4, and that's sort of 4 birdies easy as that. So I think that's been the big thing for me this year, as well as I'm hitting my irons better, but just giving myself more chances, not necessarily hitting it any closer, just having more opportunities, I guguess.
When you showed up to the course, I presume on Monday, did you think this was the kind of place that would suit you?
No.
No?
No. No, I said, my dad called me and he was asking, you know, how's the course looking? And, you know, no offense to the PGA here, but I was like, it's a typical PGA. It's long and tough, and it just not really my cup of tea, you know. But I'll be honest, like this year I've got a lot longer, and it showed a lot the first 2 days, the guys that I played with, the clubs that I've been hitting into holes, and I don't know, hopefully it's a sign of things that have changed a little bit for me, and opens up a few more doors on other golf courses.
Straight back 11, Eric.
Matt, Friday is a day typically when fans start looking at the cut line and wondering what's going to happen. When you look at this field, the golfers that do make that cut line, how possible is it for them to make that run, especially given the course conditions and not knowing what the weather is going to be like this weekend?
Yeah, I guess it's tough. I mean, I think it's supposed to be colder, so I can't really comment on that. But I think if it stayed like this for the next 2 days, I'll be honest, I think anyone who's probably not within 5 or 6 going into the weekend is probably going to be struggling, at least, I guess. I feel like it's difficult to string a bunch of birdies together. There is holes where you've got a few wedges in hand, but at the same time, you know, I found out today you can be out of position on those holes and you're scrambling for your par. So it is an interesting golf course because you can hit good shots, I think, onto the green and kind of get punished, catches a slope and goes a little bit further away. But at the same time, you know, you can catch a few breaks and maybe you can make a couple. But I think it's hard to really go crazy low if it stays like it is. And hopefully no one makes me eat my words there.
Back to 6.
Matt, I think this is 28th major for you. The one top 10 from the Masters in 2016. How do you feel about that major record, and sort of can you put your finger on why it hasn't quite clicked for you in the big ones?
Yeah, I think I'll be honest, probably, you know, 2016, 17, 18, I probably maybe my world ranking was probably better than where my game was. I think probably that's why I never really kind of challenged hovering around top 50. I think last 3 years I feel like I've been closer. I feel like this is the best I've played ever in my career this year so far. So I think it sort of obviously is big positives. But I think the thing is, it's like, you know, we go to all these different golf courses, and I've said it a lot this year, but golf courses, in my opinion, I play well at places that suit me or I enjoy playing. And I think some of the places that we go don't necessarily do that for me. And you know, that's just the way it is. You know, I look back at Harding Park. There was no way in hell I ever had a chance there, and it's different. It is, you know, I'm hoping in, what is it, like 4 weeks' time, that I'm going to have every chance and everyone else is going to be terrible. You know, so we'll see. But it's certainly in the last few years, I feel like I'm getting closer to not necessarily challenging for a major, but you know, at least putting myself in contention a little bit more often.
Going to wrap her up with Alex.
Yeah, a couple of things, Matt. So, if this event had been 2 years ago, would you have, if you had been during Harding Park year, would you have basically said I'd have no chance in hell?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, I just, you know, I reckon I've not looked at any of the radar stuff this week, but I'm taking a guess that I'll probably get in plenty of drives out there at 177, almost 180 ball speed. And 2 years ago, I'd be absolutely swinging out my shoes to get 170. And I feel like that's just made a huge difference to, you know, probably just like my mental state, being able to play, you know, some of these long par fours that we're playing and hitting 9 iron, 8 iron into them. And a good example for me was the first. I'm stood on the tee and Billy's giving me driver, and I'm thinking to myself, could we get too close here? And I ended up having 40 yards to the front, so it was like, that's obviously never something that I've had in my head before. So it's been a big positive in the last 6-8 months.
What was the, I mean, obviously outside of the fact that you want to be longer, what was the impetus? What drove you to say, okay, we have to now do this?
Just look at probably everyone around me, and realistically, the stats, I'm very analytical, and that's what it shows. You know, if you can put on 10 yards, I think it's worth almost half a shot, or maybe even more. I'm not 100% sure. And that was kind of the common theme coming out of every report that I had. If you can hit it further but hit the same amount of fairways, then you're laughing, basically. And yeah, last 2 years, I feel like that's what I've done.
Okay, and one last thing. Your short game has been actually tremendous, 12 out of 13. Getting up around here. Today you were, I think, 8 out of 9. So can you just talk about what you do around here? Because obviously there's not much Bermuda grass back in England, and I know you haven't been back in a while, but still, to be able to get around this golf course, you have to be able to have some short game, and you did. Yeah,
you do. I think one thing I did this week, I changed my wedge. I got less bounce. I think that's been a big help. I've switched my grip off the fairway. Well, I was doing it for a couple of years out the rough. I switched my grip going left hand below right from the fairway now. I feel much more consistent. It's been the case all year. And then bunkers, I feel like this sand, you've got to understand that it's just going to be the same every time. You're not going to spin it. It's going to be releasing. So I think it's helped that I've missed in the right spots as well. And I think just sort of knowing that the shot's going to release from the bunkers and having that consistent strike in the sand, has helped me out too.
So just the left-hand low was what you were doing when you were chipping with that, right?
Yeah, I do that everything apart from bunkers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matthew, thank you for the visit. Have a terrific afternoon.
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.